Hi everyone and welcome back to the show. It is most certainly March and the Hokies are most certainly the ACC Tournament champions for men's basketball. Who would have thought the Hokies continued their extraordinary hot streak to finish the season and ran it all the way through to the championship game, going through Notre Dame, North Carolina, and the Duke Blue Devils to win the ACC Tournament. It's a huge deal and maybe caught a lot of the nation by surprise. Hokie Nation maybe also a little bit surprised. I certainly didn't expect that to happen. I think a lot of us thought it was a possibility with the wide open tournament, as wide open maybe as we've seen after the kind of season that the ACC had. Not a great year overall, but a lot of good teams and a very even competitive field. The Hokies managed to do their thing and make it happen in Brooklyn. Now, it was immediately brought up that this may be the biggest Virginia Tech victory in the history of the athletics programs. And at first I thought, well, that's a little extreme. I don't know about that. But the more I thought about it, the more I thought, well, maybe that's true. So today, we're going to take a look back at some of the biggest moments in Virginia Tech sports history on the victorious side. There have been a couple of near misses on losses, but let's look at the wins, starting, of course, with the 1995 Nokia Sugar Bowl, where Virginia Tech's Frank Beamer met the national stage and liked what he saw. This game raised the stakes considerably for Virginia Tech football, introducing the nation to the Hokies. And as always, special teams played a huge part. Brian Still had a couple of big punt returns and managed to make some huge plays on offense as well, en route to game MVP honors. Now, the Hokie defense was not to be forgotten. They managed to seal the deal as well and keep the Texas offense locked up. The Hokies came away big.
The final score, 28-10, folks.
That was an absolutely great game where Virginia Tech football took off and really folks around the country started to take notice. Not the only mid-90s championship, though, that we have on our list. Look at the 1995 NIT Championship, Virginia Tech versus Marquette. Bill Foster's team in New York City and Madison Square Garden. Wonder what happened there. Madison Square Garden, the world's most famous arena, where the Hokies took on the Marquette Golden Eagles. Now, the Hokies were able to force the game into overtime at the end of regulation. Sean Good with a penetrating bucket there at the end. Bill Foster's team has another shot at it. Forward Sean Smith at the line, giving the Hokies the lead with less than a second left, but Marquette had one more chance at it. And the bucket would miss, so the Hokies started celebrating in the Big Apple for the first time since the 1973 NIT title. Bill Foster's club victorious, future assistant coach Ace Custis there to celebrate as well. Let's go even further back, looking into the 80s, when head coach Charlie Moyer, Virginia Tech's all-time wins leader in men's basketball, had the Hokies rolling. And these games against Memphis State in the early 80s were really the benchmark for a very long time in terms of Virginia Tech upsets. The Hokies first beat Memphis State when they were ranked number 1. It was Virginia Tech's first win over a number 1 ranked team. And then later on in 1983, which is where we'll show you most of the footage from here, the Hokies managed to knock off Memphis State a day before they would have moved to number 1 again. Let's take a look in the Wayback Machine. Charlie Moyer prowled the sidelines. Del Curry roamed everywhere and made shots from everywhere. No three-point line, none needed. Memphis State was one of the premier programs of the early 1980s, and the Hokies managed to take them down multiple times. As I set up there, nearly this team in particular about to become number 1. The Hokies with a raucous home environment. We've seen this year and plenty of other times. Lots of excitement in the castle. And hey, we're not done with the 80s necessarily. I mean, probably should be, but we're not in this case. Let's look at what is the first Virginia Tech bowl game victory, the 1986 Peach Bowl. Let's go to the footage. Bill Dooley was the head coach for the Hokies at the time, and Chris Kinzer was the guy whose shoulders the game rested on. The kicker, who kicked from straight on, came on at the end of regulation for the Hokies and had a chance to lift them to their first bowl game victory. Quite a celebration ensued, and excitement abounds, so much so that Chris showed a little creative sign language there. If you've ever looked and found a picture, he said that they were number one.
Obviously, it means nothing. And get calm up here and gather ourselves together because we have a little summarizing to do, as we'll tell you the final score. Virginia Tech 25, North Carolina State 24.
Now, of course, those are just a couple of the big victories in school history. Looking around at some of the other games that pop off in one's mind would be 2004, Virginia Tech football knocked off the Miami Hurricanes at the Orange Bowl to win the conference in the team's first season of competition. 2008 was another one that maybe folks have forgotten. Angela Tincher threw a perfect game for Virginia Tech softball as the Hokies knocked off the USA national team, which ended their 185-game non-Olympic streak of wins. One of the great achievements in Virginia Tech history. So that all brings us back to the big question. What is the biggest victory in Virginia Tech sports history? Now, the more I've thought about it, the more I really have come around to the fact that this ACC tournament win and the championship banner that comes with it really was the biggest victory in school history. Part of that is because I, like many other Hokies, come from an ACC family. My grandfather put himself through Duke in the 50s, back when that was still a thing you could do. That's why I have some random Duke memorabilia sitting around. Otherwise, I don't necessarily care for them. My dad sold Cokes at NC State basketball games when he was growing up, and actually once sold one to Dean Smith, who was then a young coach starting out and scouting opponents. Also, back when that was a thing you could do, or had to do at least. Most of my relatives went to an ACC school, and for the longest time, Virginia Tech was sort of an afterthought. They were a club, and we weren't in it. And even when we came in and won the football championship right off the bat, they said, that's what you guys do. You're a football school. And even after Virginia Tech started winning other championships, golf and swimming and diving and track and field, different sports across the board have started to win, which I think defied a lot of expectations across the board. But we never quite had their key to admission, which was the ACC tournament victory. Now, the Hokies have it. Virginia Tech is most certainly in the club, and the fact that that happened with this kind of wild ride, an unlikely victory going through the ACC Blue Bloods to get there, it's hard to picture a more perfect scenario, and I know there were a lot of happy tears, including from myself, when that happened last week. So now the Hokies head into the postseason, and they will be joined by quite a few other hopefuls looking to continue streaks of all sorts, looking to win another championship and raise more banners. Good luck to all of the teams competing this week on both the men's and women's side. Don't forget the Hokies have a huge Friday with men's and women's games on the basketball circuit. Check your local times, and good luck finding all of the channels, including True TV this year, which is always a fun experience. Check out the podcast. The guys have a new one dropping this week, including a visit from Virginia Tech linebacker legend James Anderson, who talks about an upcoming golf tournament to raise some money for the football program. And Virginia Tech in general, doing great things this spring. We're looking forward to all of it. We will have more about the current Virginia Tech athletic stuff going on coming up soon. In the meantime, enjoy all of the games. Good luck getting any work done this week and next week and really for the rest of the month and into April. Stay safe out there. Enjoy the new weather that's coming around. Hopefully it's better where you are. It's mediocre where I am, but still getting in the right direction. So again, enjoy the games. Stay safe. Win at your own cost. Decide what that is. I don't know what that means. All right. Go Hokies. Go sports. Have a great weekend.
Come on, JC.